Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to do a talk called Where Did We Go Wrong? Where did we go wrong as a society? So where and when did this world go wrong? Looking back centuries, it's the same old story. Wars and confrontations, cruelty and unwarranted anger at our fellow human beings, and extending to the many life forms we share this planet with. Often it's due to selfishness or the desire to possess more money or land or all transitory things of no real lasting importance. The majority of people have drifted away from their spiritual heritage and are living a counterfeit life, devoid of real love, which is far above the sentimental and physical manifestations of what we call love. It seems we are a warlike planet with little sympathy and understanding for our fellow human beings or fellow creatures. Rather than diversity, there needs to be more unity. Mercy must be shown to every living thing, even the tiniest of creatures. Hitler ordered his troops to show no mercy to their imagined enemies, and this is echoed by terrorist organisations who believe that peace can be gained through violence, or heaven gained by cruel and evil acts. This is tragic and delusional. There are entrenched beliefs in religion and politics that seem to justify the use of violence to bring about their aims. But in truth, the only thing that we should be trying to cultivate is love, loving kindness, because it is the only panacea for the world's troubles. Mercy opens the door to heaven is a comment and a saying in many, many different traditions. Leo Tolstoy said, "The teaching amounts to saying that what we call our self or our life is really the divine principle, limited in us by our body and manifesting itself as love, and that therefore the true life of each man or woman, of course, divine and free, expresses itself as love." That's very true. To develop love is to attune ourselves to the harmony of the universe and therefore become at one with all things. Saltaire said, "I can see a new religion based on trust in man, appealing to untouched depths within us, believing that we can love God without any recompense, and that the divine principle exists in man." It's by someone called Saltaire, Solter. And Anatole France says, "War will only be annihilated when people cease to have any share in violence and are prepared to suffer all the persecutions they will bring about upon themselves for doing so. This is the only way to annihilate war." That's Anatole France. From the Tao Te Ching are some wise words concerning war. It says, "Weapons are the tools of violence. All decent men detest them. Weapons are the tools of fear. A decent man will avoid them, except in the direst necessity, and if compelled, will use them only with the utmost restraint. Peace is his highest value. If the peace has been shattered, how can he be content? His enemies are not demons, but human beings like himself. He doesn't wish them personal harm, nor does he rejoice in victory. How could he rejoice in victory and delight in the slaughter of men? He enters a battle gravely, with sorrow and with great compassion, as if he were attending a funeral." And that's very, very true and very, very wise. Yet humanity, for some reason, seems to be retractive to the idea of ending war. Why is this? In the past, victory over the enemy was regarded as glorious. and it was regarded as an honour to fight and die for one's country. In some cultures, it still is. Whereas the killing of other human beings is never a cause to celebrate. Even in victory, there should be compassion for the defeated. Humans in general have never been able to rise above their lower nature, and by doing so, become aware of their spiritual self, which will give them a new perspective on life and their fellow pilgrims on this magical and mystical journey. It should be magical and mystical. So why does religion fall so miserably short and fail so miserably in promoting love and peace, instead becoming lost in sterile rituals and insincere sermons? Religions spend too much time criticising other belief systems when we should be coming together in a spirit of true brotherhood and sisterhood. It is essential to be aware that the essence of all religions is identical. This is the only basis for a universal brotherhood and sisterhood of humanity. As long as one religion believes itself to be superior to another, there will always be dissent. All those on a spiritual quest ought to cease arguing over petty details and go about trying in whatever way they can to ease the suffering of all beings upon this planet. Religions and politics have failed to bring peace to this world. If we look truthfully throughout history, both of these have created exactly the opposite. This is despite Jesus and other great teachers teaching us to love one another. Human nature always subverts the teachings to fit into the overriding viewpoints of the age, which pander always to the lower emotions and thoughts of the average man and woman. For example, we can see now that art has increased in production, but decreased considerably in quality, because real art comes from the spiritual side of one's nature and uplifts and inspires. It must come from the heart and be free of the desire to make money, which will leave the creator to pander to current popular trends. It is true also that some art and music is designed to make people think and to be aware of things that may have escaped them, which the artist, writer or musician thinks is important to bring to their attention. In some cases, this may be useful if handled responsibly. But in general, society promotes the ugly and destructive side of life, as all its inspiration comes from the lower nature and the darker side of things. H.P. Blavatsky, in her article Civilization, the Death of Art and Beauty, writes, "Already, national dress and time-honoured customs and everything beautiful, artistic and worth preservation is fast disappearing from view. At no distant day, alas, the best relics of the past will perhaps be found only in museums, in sorry, solitary and beticketed samples preserved under glass. Such is the work and the unavoidable result of our modern civilization, skin deep in reality, in its visible effects, in the blessings it is alleged to have given to the world. Its roots are rotten to the core. It is to its progress that selfishness and materialism, the greatest curses of the nation, are due, and the latter will most surely lead to the annihilation of art and of the appreciation of the truly harmonious and beautiful." Well, of course, there are a lot of positive trends as well in art, particularly now, and so it's not all bad, thankfully. And there are quite a lot of people who do appreciate beauty in poetry and art and music, even in these times. But we must learn to see the beauty in each other if we are to cease to regard other human beings with contempt. As a Hindu prayer says, we should look upon each other with the eyes of a friend. I think that's deceptively simple. To me, that's a very profound statement. We should look upon each other with the eyes of a friend. Religions, politics, and philosophy are pointless without love as their basis. Love is all that matters in this world in which we live, move, and have our being. We tend to be very much the victims of our surroundings and external circumstances, which dictate our mental attitude to life and to others. It is important to go within and find that calm centre that is unaffected by what is going on around us and in our material lives. If we can stand firmly in that place, we have a much better chance to deal with any problems that come our way. We may be in just the place we have put ourselves due to karma and in situations that give us the chance to gain experience and learn how to deal with difficulties. In an article, Practical Occultism, H.P. Blavatsky writes, meditation, abstinence in all, the observation of moral duties, gentle thoughts, good deeds and kind words, as goodwill to all, and entire oblivion of self, the lower self, are the most efficacious means of obtaining knowledge and preparing for the reception of higher wisdom. Never think you are too small or too insignificant to make a difference. Drop by drop, a pot is filled. Every little thing we do for love and peace adds to the general storehouse of beneficent thoughts, words, and actions that help towards the enlightenment of the race as a whole. The age of Kali brings into being religions and philosophies that encourage hatred and separateness. But fortunately, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, I come and go and come. When righteousness declines, O Bharata, when wickedness is strong, I rise from age to age and take visible shape and move a man with men, succouring the good, thrusting the evil back, and setting virtue on her seat again. That's from the version by Sir Edwin Arnold called the Song Celestial. If we look upon Krishna as referring to the divinity in each one of us individually and collectively, we can then see clearly the part each one of us is able to play in bringing about a spiritual regeneration of this planet Earth. So we can all see which part we can play in this drama of life, or we're enabled to play in bringing about a spiritual regeneration of this planet Earth. As it states in the Rig Veda, let us be united. Let us speak in harmony. Let our minds apprehend alike. Come and be our prayer. Come and be the end of our assembly. Come and be our resolution. Come and our deliberations. Alike be our feelings. Unified be our hearts. Come and be our intentions. Perfect be our unity. So extremist religions do not want a universal brotherhood of humanity, regardless of race, creed, sex, caste and colour. They want a brotherhood solely of their own religion, and all else are outcasts. As said earlier, somewhere along the line society went totally wrong. Where did the idea of war spring from? I think maybe from fear. Separateness creates fear, and fear creates hatred. Also, people who have sociopathic natures are the ones who seize power by any means possible, as they have no respect or understanding for the feelings of others. People who are distant from conflicts take sides depending on which propaganda they follow or believe. They have no real understanding of the feelings of people involved in such conflicts. Therefore, we are advised by some of the great spiritual teachers to love our enemies, which seems to be beyond the capability of most. We are all one heart, one soul, one spirit, guided by one love. This is the essence of every single one of us, no matter what our religion or philosophy. Only a misunderstanding of that religion or philosophy makes us think and act differently, as the quote I just used says. H.P. Blavatsky writes about theosophy, but applicable to anyone on a genuine spiritual path. She says, the tendency of modern civilization is a reaction towards animalism, towards a development of those qualities which conduce to the success of the life of a man as an animal in the struggle for animal existence. Theosophy seeks to develop the human nature in man, in addition to the animal, that the sacrifice of the superfluous animality which modern life and materialistic teachings have developed to a degree which is abnormal for the human being at this stage of his progress. Many people think just being born makes us human, but to be truly human, we have to develop the qualities that make us human, make us humane, rather than just a superior animal. If you can regard the way we act as superior to other animals. And Charles de Gaulle, the former president of France, writes, war stirs in men's hearts the mud of their worst instincts. It puts a premium on violence, nourishes hatred, and gives free rein to cupidity. It crushes the weak, exalts the unworthy, and bolsters tyranny. Time and time again it has destroyed all ordered being, devastated hope, and put the prophets to death. End of quote. So we have to really try to understand what it means to love our enemy, as Jesus told us. That is the key, never to show hatred to anyone, no matter what they have done. And it's very, very hard to do. But it is the way to end war and violence. Love and peace are words that are used almost ad nauseum in the world today. Do we really know the powers of these words when transformed into positive actions for the good of humanity? Do any of us really understand the sacrifices made by so many to make them a living reality in our daily lives? They are the alchemy that will transform this planet into a golden age of light. If only we could make the effort to comprehend what they really mean beyond the words. The world thrives on noise and disharmony. The universe exists in a state of tranquility and serenity. We are that universe, microcosms of the macrocosm. We have all the powers of that universe within us, waiting to manifest and bless and save humanity. So let's use that power and positivity to end the insanity that threatens to end in the destruction of this planet. We must make sure this never happens, and we have the capability to make sure it never does. Thank you very much for listening. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Peace on earth and goodwill to all beings. Thank you very much for listening. See you all again soon.